Well, I've got my coffee ready and we've just left Oceanside. It's just before 8 o'clock in the morning and we should be in San Diego in 7 hours time, which takes us through to about 3 o'clock, I think. So it was interesting coming out of the harbour entrance at Oceanside because it's relatively shallow and quite a big swell comes in. In fact, yesterday when I was coming into the harbour entrance, I actually got taken by a wave quite, suddenly had to steer like mad to keep the boat going on the course that I wanted the boat to go on because the wave took us and tied us up. And yeah, that got pretty interesting. Anyway, we got in fine, had a very nice evening. People came to meet up with me and that was very nice. And so now we're just making our way down towards La Jolla and San Diego. Unfortunately, ahead there looks very much like a fog bank. I hope I'm wrong, but we could well go into fog quite soon. Unless on the coast it might be not so bad, might be close into the coast, but it is looking as though it's stretching ahead of our path and on over to the coast. So that will make life a little bit more interesting. We'll get the radar on in that case, and with AIS of course that's quite handy. Anyway, we're in 50 feet of water. It's quite shallow inshore. We're making just over 6 knots, 50 foot deep depth, and the wind, there's almost no wind again. We're having to rotor. So we'll see how that fog develops. It looks very, very much like that though. Dark grey bank of, hopefully if it gets warmed up by the sun, then because there is blue sky ahead, overhead, above it, it might dissipate. We'll see. Interesting marker there, not quite sure what that is. I'll have to check on the chart and see what it says. Well, that fog bank is still very much there, out to sea and ahead of us as well. So we're still hoping that by the time we get to it, it might have lifted, but I think we're going to end up in fog at some point. We'll see how this goes. Always a worry, because, well, hopefully that will actually stop any little fishing boats coming out, the little leisure ones, the big ones. So that would actually mean that I wouldn't have to worry, because often they don't show up on AIS. The big fishing boats, the big boats do, but the little ones frequently don't have it. And if they have it, they only have it on receive. They don't have it on transmit, so I wouldn't see them. So we'll just see how that goes. In the meantime, I'm having my coffee, and the sun is shining up there, so that is good. Let's just go to the other side of the boat to show what's happening there. You see ahead, we've definitely got a look of fog around. Likewise, having my coffee in the meantime and just keeping an eye on this. This is the view of today's passage from Oceanside down past La Jolla and on around Point Loma, keeping well clear of the big kelp beds there into San Diego. It's quite a long entrance into San Diego. Very big naval base, of course. In fact, the whole area is very much military. I just had 3 jets just come screaming overhead a short while ago. And yeah, it's a 40-mile journey from Oceanside down and around into San Diego Harbour. There we go, we have just reached the fog. We're definitely in fog. It's not thick at the moment, but we're right on the edge of it. So we'll see how long this lasts. Hopefully it will lift soon. Let's just see the other side of the very nice path of sunshine. But we can just see the coast still. And I'm about to put my radar on. It's pretty impossible to take a picture of my radar screen, but you can probably see something here, but plus my reflection of course. But it's very reassuring to have that going, because now I can see if there's anything at all ahead of me, because we are in Fairly thin fog at the moment. I've still got reasonable visibility, eyeballing it, but the radar comes all the way over to the coast and gives me a better feeling of security, let's say, so, which is good. So there's the coast. I mean, the coast is still reasonably visible unless I look slightly ahead, and then it disappears, and we've got the fog in the distance here. So I just have to stay up on deck and be ready for anything. Unfortunately, there's almost no one out and about. I mean, yesterday was Boxing Day, day before was Christmas Day, and most people are back at work, I think, today. So not many of the little boats around, fishing boats, which were pretty prevalent over the weekend. Well, it's just gone 10 o'clock in the morning, and the fog has pretty well disappeared because the coastline is really pretty hazy in the distance there. I can just about see where it is. In between the fog patches, it was really nice, a lovely view of the sun glistening on the water. Very, very lovely to see. Excellent. Well, this is wonderful. There are dolphins here. They're keeping us company. I suddenly realised that I saw something jumping out of the water, and there they are, really close by, enjoying themselves. Lovely. We've got a little bit of fog, but they're not bothered by that, of course. Just keep the camera going and hoping that we'll see them. There are quite a few. And they're coming quite close to the boat. Always lovely to see the dolphins. So nice. I'm just going to let the camera run and see whether we can spot them coming up again. There are quite a few birds around as well. Oh, there's quite a few of the dolphins. Wow. Quite a few. They love showing off to people in boats. Wonderful to see them. They're all around us. They're on the other side of the boat as well. Quite a way out this way and quite a way out the other side. So clearly a very big dolphins. Dolphins, I can't remember what the collective term is. So nice to see them. The air is quite cold. It had been murky just back there, but we seem to have cleared up a bit now. So I can see quite well. We've got good visibility. Oh, they're so close now. Slowly cruising along. They're crossing our path actually, so I just hope they stay clear of our flock. I think they know better than to go near there. Crossing right across. Often if I see them in the distance and they're not coming our way, because of course we've got the engine running so they can hear that we're here. But if I'm sailing, so I'm very quiet, and I see the dolphins nearby, I will bang with the winch hand on the boat to make a noise to attract their attention, and sure enough they will always come to the boat. They're wonderful creatures. So sociable. very big group. Oh, and you've got a bird here as well. Well, I can stay here all day just watching out for them. Often they'll come onto the bow, a pair of them will come either side of the bow and use the fact that we're going along to just relax, and the boat, the water at the front of the boat pushes them along, they do nothing. One just below the, oh there he goes, I can see well, no, I think the show's over for today. Lovely. So we're not the only one out here, there is the occasional person out here clearly fishing, the odd pelican flying around hoping for something. So I had to change course slightly actually, he was dead ahead of me, and so I just went off course slightly and now I'm come back on course. So yeah, a little bit chilly, but hopefully they're getting plenty of fish. And another one out here, hoping for something. I wouldn't have thought they'd have any problem catching something. That's a pretty small boat and they've got no protection whatsoever. There's a little bit of wind has come up, a south wind, about 7 or 8 knots or so. So they're well wrapped up, still got their fender out ready for when they get back into the marina or wherever, maybe a ramp. They might have come trailed it in a car and come down to the bay to go fishing. So let's hope they get something to make it worthwhile. Quite a few pelicans there resting in the sea. They love the fishermen, when they clean the fish they always get a present. And there's the little boat making off in the distance, going a lot faster than we are. Well, the fog has come down a little bit. Visibility is still reasonably good actually, but we are still in rather patchy fog. I could see the heights of La Jolla off to port, but that's disappeared. And now we've got Sea Bear, another little boat, obviously transmitting on AIS, so we're getting the name, and they're off to port, so I'm keeping an eye out for them to make sure that we keep well away. We look as though we're going to be a good half mile off them, but obviously I need to be ready for action just in case we get closer. They should see us just as we're seeing them, so that's a good thing about AIS. So yeah, still pretty murky and light overcast in addition to the fog over the sea. It's often called a marine layer, which is exactly what it is. The water is obviously colder than the air and the fog forms just on the sea, so we get this patchy fog. But at least it's not too thick, I can see well ahead, so that's good. Oh, and I meant to say that the south wind has came up a short while ago, so we are heading into a 7-knot southerly wind. Not a problem, we're keeping going at a reasonable speed, but it has reduced our speed just a little bit. And with that south wind, I was told yesterday, that's usually the precursor of some rain coming in, so I'm hoping to get to San Diego before the rain gets in. So we're coming around La Jolla now, and the fog got quite thick a moment ago. It's lifted a bit now. Very patchy. Sometimes it's quite thick. I could just see a couple of boat lengths ahead, and now it's a little bit better. It's still around, but it's not quite as thick. Very patchy. Well, this is quite interesting. You can see now just how thin the fog layer is over the sea, because we're actually seeing La Jolla above it. I just noticed what had happened. I've got quite good visibility at the moment until we get to that fog bank. So we're coming alongside Point Loma now, and most of the fog seems to be well away. There could be a little bit ahead there, but hopefully nothing to worry about. Point Loma is renowned for having a lot of kelp nearer to it. We're keeping well away, a good mile or over a mile away, and taking a long course around to get into the entrance channel into San Diego Harbor. So it's quite lengthy. In fact, we almost doubled back on ourselves to get back into San Diego Harbor itself. But it's all looking good. There is fog in the distance back there. That way you can see what should be visible of La Jolla is not. Just thought I'd show our path into San Diego Harbor. We're coming all the way down, well past Point Loma, in order to get back up again into the entrance channel into San Diego Harbor, and then we'll be coming in towards Shelter Island and heading into the dock there at the San Diego Yacht Club. So quite a long distance out of our way. It's Point Loma, those shallows, the blue patch around Point Loma, full of kelp, which is pretty hard. You don't want to hit that with your prop, you can do quite a bit of damage, so something to keep well away from. Point Loma, with the big lighthouse at the very end there, keeping watch over the entrance channel into San Diego. Avoiding tactics were just needed to avoid that boat, that sailboat there with its spinnaker up now. They were just tacking like mad, and I tried to go behind them and they tacked around. I went behind them and they tacked around. I don't think they saw me. And then there's this lovely schooner behind there, rather nice. So we'll see if we can get a better shot of that. Okay, so that's rather nice picture, the new and the old. So we're headed down now towards the channel into San Diego, and that's the view of Point Loma that we get from this perspective, along the length of it basically. So a few sailboats now to avoid, and keep an eye on what's going on. Now in San Diego, and I don't think there'll be sea lions on that point. Maybe. So here we have Point Loma, looking down the length of it from the other side, coming down the channel in towards San Diego. The view from the other side, the sailing vessel ahead of us, the marker, the red light returning of course, and here we go, looking down now towards Mexico. Not that far away, the border. A bit of low cloud there covering the top of the long peninsula of Point Loma. Plenty of sailing boats around now as we come nearer to the main marina entry. As we turn down into Shelter Island harbour entrance, there are quite several marinas inside Shelter Island harbour, and as you come in the entrance on the starboard side is this long police dock. If you're coming up from Mexico to clear into the USA, this is where you have to stop in order to do that. And then I made for the fuel dock because we were obviously needing to fuel up before turning back towards San Diego Yacht Club. And yeah, always nice to see these pelicans. They're always such funny creatures. And fueled up, topped up the tanks, and then made for the yacht club. Many thanks to Gary and Gayle for making me feel so welcome, along with a lot of other people at the club. It's been really wonderful to have been made so welcome. And I was kind of adopted one evening by this group of very friendly women who wanted to make sure that I enjoyed myself. On New Year's Eve, I had a very nice meal with the Goulds, and then I was taken by a group of people to Little Venice. But I think probably the food at Little Venice is maybe a bit better than the music. And the next morning, Gary took me to have a look at Point Loma. The wind was really up with all the rain and the rather stormy weather. Didn't stop Sally, this lovely 10-meter classic, going out in the next on New Year's Day morning in the New Year's Day racing. What a lovely boat, beautiful line. She looks so graceful, absolutely beautiful. So I opted out of going with them. I was invited, but I decided I really needed to get some things done on board Nereida, and I think they had a good time.